What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Today we got another team projection will be, as we like to call them. We got the World Series champion Atlanta Braves. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex, Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And today we're back with another team projection will be, as we like to call them. We got the World Series champion, Atlanta Braves. First of all, Braves win the World Series. Let's just... Nice job for them. They went 88 and 73 in the regular season. And they had a lot of hurdles to overcome. They made a lot of additions, and they won the World Series. I mean, good for them.
What a miracle run in a little ways. Obviously, that World Series run, first one since what, 96?
I believe so. Yeah.
Beautiful run by the Braves. I mean, one more. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, the Braves, they did make some additions.
Well, before about their additions, you want to talk about their subtractions?
Nah,
that don't matter.
No, it does matter, but we've been... Why would we switch up the order at this point?
Oh, are we always doing the addition first?
We've always done
we do it in PEMDAS?
PEMDAS.
All right.
Player added is the first two letters.
That's true.
In PEMDAS.
All right, let's get to it then.
All right, so additions. They made some additions. Manny Pena was an addition. Kirby Yates, they signed him before lockout. We got Orlando Arcia, who was signed to a 2-year contract. Very interesting. Who else they got? Colin McHugh just recently signed after the lockout. Who else did we have? Who? Matt Olson, but we'll save that for last. Alex Dickerson to a 1-year contract.
True.
Eddie Rosario coming back on a 2-year contract.
Kenley Jansen.
2-year,
14 mil.
1 year.
Oh, yeah, it's
14
1
mil.
Sorry.
And that's about it. Yeah, that's it. But they made some additions, like we said. However, the subtractions were huge.
Oh, they were monstrosities that no one would have ever bet would happen. And I mean, the very, very obvious one that I think that we're kind of beating around the bush here is they did lose Josh Peterson to the San
very
Francisco
obvious
Giants.
one. Yeah, that's the obvious one. We'll get to that one. But Freddie Freeman.
Oh, I thought that you were going to say World Series MVP Jorge Soler.
No. Freddie Freeman, he's a Dodger now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're currently watching the Dodgers right now on the side TV that we got going on.
Heartbreaking for Atlanta fans. I
It's
cannot
terrible.
imagine.
And especially the way he went, if you read into it, I mean, it wasn't pretty with Alex Anthopoulos, who was their GM. I mean, it just wasn't pretty from all looks of it.
Yeah, it seemed like the Braves just had a number in their mind and didn't want to move from it, which was a little sad. But they've moved on.
They were extremely stingy. Because it wasn't even like that much of a difference between what they wanted,
it wasn't
what
at
they
all.
wanted, and what Freeman actually wound up getting with the Dodgers.
They were just sticking the mud. They didn't want to budge on anything type of deal, which was sad because Freddie Freeman, I mean, the face of that franchise since, 2013?
Yeah.
He had no choice but to leave because he deserves his money. I mean, he did everything that he could for the city of Atlanta.
2013, try 2011.
Yeah, 2011 even.
I mean,
but
12 years with the Braves.
Yeah, but he did everything that he could for that franchise, and I mean, it's nice to see that he went out on top. From Atlanta, I mean, he finally got over that hump of winning a World Series, and didn't blow a 3-1 lead to the Dodgers.
No, as they did in 2020. I mean, yeah, like you said, he accomplished a lot there. He won an MVP, which I don't think you mentioned.
Won an MVP.
And obviously the World Series was kind of the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It just kind of finished it off, and it sucks that the year after he finally got that World Series with the Braves, after 11 years before that, he's gone the next.
Yeah.
And not only is he gone the next, but he's on a powerhouse team like the Dodgers, a team that you beat to get to the World Series.
Yeah, that many of the fans in Atlanta grew to see it as a rivalry between Atlanta and the Dodgers. They were always meeting in the postseason. I mean, not even just last year, the year before, but they've always had their run-ins with each other, and it's always been good games. Now that the Braves lost their cornerstone to their rival, sort of like a very heart-shattering moment.
Yeah, no, that must have been... I mean, it's not like they didn't see it coming, I want to say, because it was reported all lockout and all, like, before and after lockout that the Dodgers were the front runners. There was always a Yankee thing, but that was never real.
Then there was a Red Sox thing, Padres thing.
None of that.
Like it was always just the Dodgers and the Braves.
Yeah, none of that was ever real. I mean, he grew up in L.A. or right by L.A. He grew up in Orange County. He went to Dodger games when he was younger. I mean, it just all made sense.
Yeah.
And they were giving him money, and they have an insanely good team. So.
Yeah, and the Dodgers never fail to run out of money somehow, some way.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't about the Dodgers. It's more about the Braves. And we talked about getting rid of Freeman, but
look who they replaced him with.
His replacement,
another hometown guy.
Yeah, Matt Olson, huge first baseman, top 3 in baseball, according to Milo, and I mean, it makes sense. Top 2 according to Milo, I think.
I mean, he's definitely top 5.
3.
I will say, we'll be safe and say top 5 for sure.
Top 3 for sure.
Yeah. Matt Olson, basically a younger Freddie Freeman. I mean, obviously the numbers are not exactly the same, but they're pretty damn close, which is exciting to see for Atlanta Braves fans.
Yeah. You said younger. I mean, I think Matt Olson, dare I say, could be better than Freeman depending on the day or the year, rather. I mean, when you look at the numbers, Freeman's got a higher batting average. He's always going to get on base more. I mean, career-wise, it's .296 batting average for Freeman, but .252 for Olsen. And Olsen has he hits more homers. He has less speed. I don't know. It's hard to get better than Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman is indeed better than Matt Olson, I in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think that
it
gap between Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson is actually not as big as Atlanta fans might think. We're definitely
it's not. I think Atlanta fans know that it's not as big as they think.
Yeah, and if they don't believe that because they have not seen much of Matt Olson because he is on an AL West team where the Braves usually don't go out and play, you're going to see it this season as long as he stays healthy, of course. Knock on wood that happens.
Yep. Of course.
And well, let's not forget that the Atlanta Braves also gave him a huge contract extension.
Oh yeah, that extension
right after he was
ginormous.
traded for.
What was it? 8 years.
It was $280, I think.
I don't think 280. It might have been 180. It wasn't as much as I kind of thought he would get, especially for that amount of time.
I'm gonna find it.
Matt Olson extension.
Yeah, I have.
I can tell you it right now. 8 years, $168 million.
Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't 280.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
fault.
way
too much.
too
Where did I
much.
get 280 from? I don't know. That's on me. My fault.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good contract for the Braves, I think. The AAV isn't as high as I thought a guy like Matt Olson would get, considering how good he can be and how good we know he can be. So
Yeah.
I think the Braves kind of dodged a bullet there, and they got good value out of a guy for 8 years.
Yeah, who will probably produce for all 8 of those years, honestly.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's only 28.
Yeah.
So 8 years, he'll be 36.
Yeah. And with the DH around and everything, I think we'll see him play out that whole contract.
Yeah, I mean, Freeman's 32, and he's still got years left in the tank. So.
Oh, plenty of. Which is good to see. Which is very good to see for Braves fans that they got another top 5 first baseman. The trade, they did give up a lot of prospects for Matt Olson. However, if the Braves want to continue to compete and stuff, they're not really going to expect to earn top prospects in the draft. So
No, because they want to compete. They don't care about draft picks. I mean,
so I see no issue with the trade. I mean, if it was there, then it's a great idea to take it, and I do not fault the Braves at all.
they got rid of their organization's 2 top prospects from 2021. So, like you said, big big prospect capita given up. I mean, Christian Pache, who was heartbroken to be leaving Atlanta. We all saw that tweet, and Shea Langeliers, something like that. I can't really say the name yet. I'll know the name once he gets closer to coming up. So yeah, they did give a lot up, and obviously that A's team is rebuilding, and they're what?
Nothing. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, that A's team is rebuilding, and this was the 2 top prospects out of the Braves organization as a start. Really, in the minor leagues, is a very, very good start.
Yeah. But that's the A's. That's not really the Braves. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right.
More free agents that they did lose, getting away from the Freeman trade, because we already went over that. And I mean, Olsen is still great first baseman. Eddie Rosario re-signed.
NLCS MVP.
NLCS MVP Eddie Rosario. Love to see it. Hopefully he can actually
play baseball.
Be good. Yeah, be good for, as bad as it sounds, like hopefully he can actually be good for the 2 years that he's there. I think it's 2 with an option for a third.
So.
But hopefully he can be good, because in Cleveland he was not good at all, and it seems like when he came over to the Braves he kind of flipped on a switch, and it was only for 33 games. And then of course the playoffs he also went off. With the Indians he had a 685 on OPS, and then with the Braves he had a 903 OPS. So big difference there. If he can keep it up, that's great for the Braves.
Yeah.
But if he goes back to those Indians numbers, I think they'll regret it.
Yeah, but they do have to pay him on what they saw him do in a Atlanta Braves uniform, which was spectacular. I mean, you don't just win NLCS MVP for doing nothing. He was a huge part of that playoff run, along with all the other acquisitions that they made at the deadline that year. So all in all, I'm just happy for Eddie Rosario, and I'm hoping that, obviously, I don't think that there's a world where he maintains what he did last season in those 33 games in the playoffs.
No, I don't think he'll perfectly maintain it.
Yeah, but I think that he'll have a slight drop-off, but nothing that Braves fans will be rioting in the streets about.
Yeah, I'd say like around an 800 OPS would be fine.
Yeah, I would guess closer to 850.
So even 750 wouldn't be terrible. Just bolster it up those numbers a little bit more. I mean, in 78 games with the Indians, he had 46 RBIs and 17 walks. And with 33 games with Braves, he had 16 RBIs and 9 walks. So he was getting on base more and driving more runs in with the Braves, which is good. And if he can keep, especially those walks, if he can get those up more, get that on-base percentage even higher, he'll be a good signing for them.
Yeah. And also, don't forget that the contract is not that big. So, I mean, we'll see what the Braves want to do, because they showed it last year that they're willing to compete at the deadline for players and make the necessary trades that they have to make. So maybe you see him get flipped for a different outfielder at the deadline or something like that, because the contract is movable.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it hard for them to flip him, especially with that NLCS MVP kind of sitting in the bag. Speaking of another guy who did great in the postseason, the Pearls. Jock Peterson, he's gone.
Can we say his nickname?
The Pearl.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm not going to say the other one.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other one.
The Pearls. Jock Peterson is gone. He's headed to San Francisco on a 1-year deal. So, what do you think?
I mean, another guy going back to where he grew up. Jock Peterson did grow up in the Bay Area watching the Giants, and he wanted to go home. So, good for him. I love the idea of him hitting like 45 home runs, all landing in McCovey Cove. I think that's a little bit of a stretch for him.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know with the Pearl Man. But that would be fun. And that Giants offense looks just as fine, just fine in the National League West. And I think Jock Peterson is just a good addition. I'm just excited to see him play baseball in Oracle Park.
None of that had anything to do with the Braves.
I know, but you asked me about Jock Peterson.
No, but I asked you what you think from Braves' perspective. I hate this from Braves' perspective. I mean,
I'm upset that
getting him back would have been amazing for them. I get that they're going to get Ronald back, which we'll talk about after. But I don't know. I feel like this is more of those for the fans type signings. And he's good, too. It's not like Jock Peterson is a bad player, you know?
Yeah, he isn't at all.
No, not at all.
Are you mocking my poses?
No, I was just keeping my arms up till you put yours down, so now I'm chilling.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, Jock Peterson last year, 137 games between two teams, the Cubs and the Braves. 732 OPS. I mean, not great. But we all know what he did in the postseason, and that all makes up for it.
Exact same situation as Eddie Rosario, where when he came to the Braves, they...
Well, he wasn't as bad as Eddie Rosario.
No, but he did have a significantly better time in the Braves uniform. So, and of course, with that postseason run, it's hard to forget. I think that this is just another good signing, and I'm just happy for Braves fans. And I'm upset for Braves fans because Jock Peterson is just such a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, me too.
Like if I lived in the Bay Area, I would definitely be going to games just to see him play.
Yeah, if I was going to the Bay Area, I'd probably be going to games because I'm a Giants fan. But that's just me. So, yeah, it sucks that they lost him. And keep moving on the big losses. World Series MVP Jorge Soler.
Jorge Soler.
Gone. He's gone.
Yeah, went over to the Miami Marlins on a 3-year, $36 million contract. A little bit higher than I feel like was expected for him to make, but if the Marlins were willing to pay that price tag, I don't see why he doesn't take it. Another huge loss for the Braves because, especially with the DH coming to the National League this season, he is the perfect DH.
Yeah, he
for a championship caliber team like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's the third kind of guy in that outfield during the World Series run who had a terrible first half of the year with his other team and then came over to the Braves and went absolutely nuts. So the Marlins kind of banking on him being Braves Jorge Soler rather than Royals Jorge Soler, 2021 Royals Jorge Soler. They don't really want that guy. They want Braves Jorge Soler. They want him to bring the energy. They want him to be good. But as for the Braves, I mean, you bring back your NLCS MVP, but you lose your World Series MVP. I don't know. I don't mind it. Like you said, it would fit perfectly in DH, but I don't think it's the worst loss of this offseason.
Definitely not, but I mean, you'll hear Braves fans say all this season at certain times when their DH comes up, like, oh, if only Jorge Soler were up, because he just has...
I mean, they might have Ozuna DH. Remember, Ozuna's coming back. I feel like Ozuna would really take Jorge's spot, because hopefully Ozuna won't be playing the outfield as much because of that new DH. So, I don't know. I think it works out for the Braves.
Yeah, it definitely will work out for the Braves. Like, Brave fans, don't be upset. Like, think of all the good memories that you got from the team. Don't be upset that a few of these players did decide to walk away in free agency. But look forward to this season as well because there is a lot of potential in this lineup, especially with how the NL East has gone in years past.
Yeah, and they got a big guy coming back.
And who would that be?
Ronald Acuna Jr.
Clap it up.
He's set to come back July 21st. Oh, wait. I take that back. That was when he got injured. He's set to come back around mid-June, probably. Around there. Maybe earlier, maybe a little later. Exciting.
Very, very exciting. I mean, when he comes back, that lineup, I think, is the best lineup in the National League East.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Even better than the Mets lineup.
Even
Not necessarily their pitching staff. Well, we haven't even talked about that yet, but that lineup is insane with Acuna. I mean, last year he played almost exactly half the season. I mean, 24 homers, so on pace for 48, which would have tied the league lead. 52 RBIs. Which is good about these numbers is that you can kind of just double them, and that's what his projected numbers, I guess, technically would have been.
Yeah.
So 52 RBIs would have been 104. 17 steals, which would have been, 34.
Close to 40. Oh, my God.
49 walks would have been 100. The strikeouts were a little high, but that's all right.
That's what you get with such, yeah.
19 doubles, so we can round up and say he probably would have hit 40-40.
40. 40 homers, maybe 40 bags, 40 doubles.
That would have been insane.
Yeah.
That would have been probably something that hasn't happened much before.
I cannot imagine, but that is, I think, the biggest return in baseball that people are looking forward to.
Oh, 100%. Him and now, I guess, Nando, but this has been anticipated for longer.
Yeah, I mean, it was really heartbreaking to watch him go down. I mean, I think we were both watching that game live when it happened. It was not easy to watch. I mean, we really felt bad more than anything, and I cannot imagine how Braves fans felt in that moment and then how they felt seeing World Series champion Braves pop up at the bottom of their TV screen.
I mean, Braves fans, last year was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, because, I mean, after that Acuna injury, people were like, oh, it's over, we're not making the playoffs, blah,
right.
blah, blah, blah.
And then it flip-flopped.
Yeah, then it flipped. I mean, but when Ronald Acuna Jr. comes back, right, he'll play about half the season if he comes back in June. Do you think he will be that missing piece that the Braves are looking for to then project them into the promised land?
Yeah, this guy's an MVP candidate whenever he steps foot on the field.
Yeah.
He could not be playing that night, step on the field, and he helped his
team win.
Candidacy, his team win. I think it's the missing piece, and I think it's going to help him compete and have, like you said, the best lineup in the NL East, rather.
Yeah. I mean, it's up there for sure, and we know that they can now get over the hump of the Dodgers. We'll see if they can get over the hump of the Dodgers with now Freddie Freeman. But all in all, a very, very exciting season to look forward to, Braves fans. I cannot wait. Just on the offensive side of the ball, do you want to talk about pitching?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even mentioned their pitching. Their pitching staff is...
Which also won a World Series, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's it's up there with one of the best in baseball, if I'm being honest. I mean, last year, their starting pitching, 7th in ERA, 8th in WHIP, 19th in walks per 9, 13th in K per 9, 5th in hits per 9. I mean, same with their bullpen, 10th in ERA, 18th in WHIP, not great, but they did make additions to their bullpen. I mean, their rotation, Max Fried, Cy Young candidate on any day of the week.
Of course.
Charlie Morton has the stuff.
GOAT.
Maybe not Cy Young stuff, but he has the stuff. Ian Anderson will be a Cy Young contender at some point in his career. Maybe not this year, but he's definitely got Cy Young stuff.
Okay.
Hunskar Ynoa, who we saw last year.
Legend. Incredible
stuff, also with the bat. Kyle Wright, pretty good. And Tucker Davidson is either going to be starting or coming out of the bullpen. So, good pitchers all around. I mean, I wouldn't say it's top 5 in baseball.
No, I definitely...
But it's certainly up there.
It'd be hard to say that. Yes, even that 1-2 is enough to compete, without a doubt. Obviously, everything else is sort of extra, but their starting pitching looks great, and I mean, their bullpen looks even better this year.
Yeah. Their bullpen, I mean, they added Kenley Jansen, Colin McHugh. Ooh, that was a bad voice crack. Kenley Jansen, Colin McHugh, and they still have the rest of their guys from last year who... Good. I mean, Darren O'Day is going to be on that team again this year. He's back. They still have Will Smith. Not the one that slapped Chris Rock. Tyler Maztek, AJ Minter, Sean Newcomb. They still have the guys.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can do anything like what they did last second half of the season, then I am looking very much forward to baseball in Atlanta. They pitched out of their mind in the postseason, and I'm just looking forward to seeing all of them pitch once again. Charlie Morton should be 100% after breaking his leg in the World Series, which was heartbreaking to see.
It was terrible. I mean, even the way he did it, but he still struck out Jose Altuve with a broken leg. So,
yeah.
That was the height of the season.
Yeah, that was the height of the season.
Felt good. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot. We also didn't do over-unders for this episode. We're going to do them separately also, as with the last 2 episodes. Next episode, we'll have them.
Yeah. Check out our Instagram page if you want to see all the over-unders for last episode and this one.
Okay, yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Just keep your eye out.
Eventually.
And yeah, I think that'll do it. Atlanta Braves. Go Braves.
Go Braves. Chop on. Oh.
All right, yeah, let's not do that. Do you think they'll win over or under 88 games? We'll go with last year.
Over.
Over? I'm going to go over as well. And then in 2022, the Atlanta Braves will be in
first place.
First place. You heard it here first. Let's go Braves. And that'll do it for this team projection for the Atlanta Braves. Keep your eye out for more of these. Remember, you know your team more than we know your team. All that applies except for the Yankees. And yeah, that should do it. All right, this has been another episode of the Normal Baseball Will Bees for the 2022 season. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.